What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. Today is a very special episode. My co-host and technically my guest, because she has some news she wants to share with you guys, Natasha, is here. But before we get into all that, we have the Bachelor Nation breakdown. We have the Clickbait of the week. And yeah, how you doing, Mrs. Parker?
I am so good. Okay, so I just tried to turn this necklace around, but clearly it's not working. It's my dopamine necklace that I'm having on for you.
What does it raise your dopamine levels?
Yes, it does. It actually does. You put it on
by wearing
it.
Yeah, right.
No,
that'd be awesome.
But it's just an actual dopamine molecule. See?
Okay.
It was a gift because someone met me and said, "You are dopamine, girl. You give me life, girl."
Who said this?
Her name is Rose. It's a girlfriend of mine.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe a love interest, but...
Well, listen, love is in the air. Let me tell you, Joe.
Meaning?
Yes. Meaning... Can we start this podcast?
We could. All right.
Why are you always
fine,
doing this to me, Joe? Why are you always doing this to me?
Bachelor Nation breakdown. Number one, Michelle Money is engaged. Assuming you know who Michelle Money is. If you don't, she was on Brad Womack's second season of The Bachelor. She was, I believe, I don't know if she was the villain, but she was very outspoken, big personality. She was on Bachelor in Paradise season 1. I think she was on Bachelor Pad as well. Could be wrong on that. And then I YouTubed her and found a few other things that she was on. She just got engaged to Mike Ware, who's a professional golfer. I believe he's Canadian, so we have that in common. But
professional golfer.
Yeah,
they've been dating for 7 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Sounds about right. It's a long time.
That is a long time, honey.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in those situations, I'm like, is it the girl who's just like, not like, boo, I don't care. I'm not pressed, Or is it, the guy like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe it was.
Or maybe both.
Maybe it was both. Both. Maybe they were on and off for 7 years.
Yeah, I just don't think at this point in my life I got 7 years in me. Mm-mm.
Okay, so do you have... So you start dating a man seriously. Mm-hmm. Do you have a time frame that you're like, hey, like, we've been dating now for 3 years. Mm-hmm. When are you going to... when are you going to bring that up?
So I think early on, this is a very new thing for me, but I think early on, I think I have to set expectations. A friend of mine who they met, they got engaged, and then they had a baby very soon, soon after. She just said, hey, these are my expectations. You're amazing. I've never met someone like you before, and you definitely ain't never met somebody like me before. So if you aren't trying to make this a solidified thing under the Lord soon, I might have to be somebody else's best.
Okay.
And it worked. So I'm just, I would be curious to know. I think that when that saying that people say, when if that makes sense, I think when people say that, of course, I haven't felt that with someone, I guess. So maybe that's why it hasn't happened. But when maybe you can be together for 10 years. And as long as you're together, you guys have great communication, you live together, whatever you want to call it. Like my brother and his partner, they have 3 kids together. They're not officially married.
Yeah.
And eventually maybe they will, but they'll be one of those couples that 20 years down the line, oh yeah, we decided to get married today. But they're so solid, they're so good, they're great.
Yeah, so, I think it's about, like you said, having those conversations early on. Like even when we were in Paradise, Serena said to me, like, I would say day 1 or 2, like, I want kids. Like my future, I want kids.
Period.
Yeah. And, if I didn't, that would have been a deal breaker right there. Like we wouldn't have kept going.
Exactly. She said, "Oh, y'all gonna have the cutest kids too."
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, TT Tosh.
Curly hair. Very, very curly hair. Okay. Bachelor Nation break.
Wait, the hair gene comes from the dad's side, by the way. So just remember that.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Because
It is.
I have my mother's hair, not my father's.
You might have someone's hair from your father's side, but the hair gene does come from the dad's side.
I have my mom's hair for sure. My mom has curly hair. Thick hair.
So there's no one in your dad's family that has curly hair? No one? Not one?
No.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I guess maybe my cousin. Whatever. I mean,
okay. Genes are weird. I get it, but I'm just saying.
Okay, Bachelor Nation breakdown number 2. Tia calls out mommy shamers. Tia Booth, you know her. She was the guest last week. She was also part of this podcast for a year. I guess the thing was Tia went on her story and is looking for a night nurse. Her or Taylor don't really have family in Nashville where they live, so it's not like her mom could come over and watch the baby or whatnot. So she wanted a little help, and people shamed her for it, which is pretty ridiculous. But what are your thoughts?
I was about to go get my earrings, take them off for my girl Tia. Tia, come on, girl. What we got to do? I think it's crazy. Listen, I don't have kids, and I say this all the time. Like, whatever works.
Yeah.
I can't even, maybe if I had kids, I would maybe feel more inclined to be like, oh, well, that's not what you're supposed to do. Now, I will say there are times like I'm like walking outside and it's freezing outside and there's like a baby and the baby doesn't have a hat on or their toes are out. And I'm like, oh, cover that baby up. But that's just like, I don't know, instinct or what my mom used to say. I don't really know. It's just like a safety thing. But I think it takes a village, and I think Taylor and Tia not having family where they live and not having grandma to come over for help or this or that, I think that having a new baby in your life is a big adjustment and it takes time. And this baby's 1 month? The baby was just born. She's still figuring things out, right? Yeah. And Tia works a lot. She's always doing stuff. They have that house.
I think if you could afford a night nurse, it's like a no-brainer. And you need to sleep. Like we all need to sleep, and it makes you just more effective during the day, especially when your baby is more alert and awake. So for me, I would be like, yeah, if you could afford it, do it.
Yeah, I just think that more help is better than no help. I think of all the single moms out there who've had to raise kids on their own by themselves. I'm sure if they could have dialed up the night nurse and been like, "Hey, come through," they would have, So I just think this is a prime example of like things are and have changed. And I think that a lot of the ways that like my mom, like even I see my mom with my little nieces and like her grandbabies, the way that she raised kids is so different now because we have the internet, because we have all these different things and resources. And if you have an amazing person who's willing to help you out at night, more power to you. I mean, things are changing.
Yeah, my grandmother on my father's side had 7 kids, and my grandmother on my mom's side had 5. And I think like how did they do it with no Google?
I'm telling
it's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, my grandma had 15 kids in Chicago. Crazy. Yeah. And so I think about
15. 15's a lot. 15's a lot.
And my granddad. Yeah, my granddad. Oh, my granddad. R.I.P. I love him so much. My grandma too. But they, I also feel like what's interesting is, and I mean, I don't want the mommies to come for me, but I think a lot of stress that happens also on top of just having this new life in your house and these things happening and all these changes happening. being sleep deprived also adds to a lot of the stress that a lot of the mommies have when they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't have any time for myself. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't even sleep. Like, so if you can take one thing and that's your sleep, oh, yes. Because guess what? Back then, they didn't have another choice. So they had to power through, and be sleepless. But now we got options, and go ahead, Tia, with them options. I'm sure somebody saw that story and was like, I'm about to call a night nurse.
I agree. We need our sleep. All right. Bachelor Nation breakdown number 3. This is the bigger one, relevant to us. Natasha is leaving Clickbait. This is her last episode. I will let you take it from here.
Okay. Joe.
Yes.
This is my last episode of Clickbait, and it is so bittersweet. I have really enjoyed doing this podcast with you specifically. And of course,
some of the best, thank you. Likewise though.
It's great. And, I think you find yourself, or at least I don't know about you, but me, I find myself looking forward to these weeks. It's like, oh, I get to catch up with my friends. Like, it's great. But I love podcasting, and I want to continue my podcast journey in a different way. I think Clickbait and Wondery is amazing, and we've had such great times, and the producers who help us on this podcast and everyone who's on this podcast is so amazing. But just, I'm not even going to get all into the who, what, where's, and whys, but there were recently in the last 6 months, I've just seen some different things happening in this franchise that for me to be this love and light that I try to put out into the world, I'm like, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to be. And sometimes it's being a part of this franchise. It's hard to continue that and to be that. And the podcast is amazing. And I'm so glad that you are doing your meditations and you're doing your mindfulness. And I hope you keep doing that stuff. But
I'm one with the earth.
Yes, exactly.
So you want to continue your podcast journey, which is great.
Yes.
What are you thinking about doing a podcast about?
So, it'll be more of, I like to listen to podcasts that are entertaining, but also that I learn something from. And I think I have a lot to share when it comes to, manifesting and living the life that you want and things like that. So that is what that's going to be the essence of it. But I want people to take away something. I've been doing a lot of research and I've been reading a lot of books and just about bridging the gap between really successful people and people who are stuck. And I kind of want to help those people who are stuck because I've been stuck before. So that's what I want my podcast to be about.
Are you looking for a co-host?
I would love a co-host, but I'm currently not looking for a co-host because I feel like if I keep waiting for a co-host, the perfect co-host, it's never going to happen. So
Sure.
I just need to do it. And if a co-host comes along, amazing, great, awesome.
Nice. Well, you got a listener in me.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that some of these peeps who have listened to me on here and they want, like I said, being stuck is just a moment, and I've experienced that so much and so deeply that I want to help people through that.
Also, are you going to stop watching the show now?
That's a good question. Probably so.
Really? So we're not gonna hang out on Monday nights anymore at your club and watch?
No, we can do that.
Well, Natasha, it is bittersweet. I'm gonna miss you, but I'm very happy. You're gonna keep podcasting. You want to do your own thing. You seem to be in a very good place. And
are you gonna cry?
I'm not gonna cry because we live in the same city, and I'll probably see you this week. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, you will be missed, and I hope that you call me on to be a guest on the Natasha Parker podcast.
Yeah, I will.
You have a great name. Natasha Parker is a a very, it's a solid name and it's very marketable.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm
My
thinking-
my last name is it's a mouthful. It's very hard to pronounce.
Have you ever thought about having a pen name?
Not if I ever want to speak to my father again, because he would not be okay with that.
Oh my gosh, that's who we should have had it on too. We should have called your parents for our last guest too.
Yeah.
Oh
would've
my
been fun.
gosh, that would have been funny. All right, clickbait. Woo! All right, so guys, we have 2 clickbaits for you today. We have our standard little messy clickbait that we have to address, and then we have our clickbait that I personally picked that I came across reading, and it's a new year. And I think it'll be really great to leave out on this note. So first we have dating expert says women with male friends aren't relationship material. This is a New York Post article, and when I tell you it stung. This personal trainer and dating guru, David, I'm going to just say David, said that...
First of all, what is a dating guru anyways?
A dating guru is someone who has self-proclaimed, came on their platform and said, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. And you know what? I will say there are some people out there who make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who, they don't make no sense at all. They don't make no sense. And this particular thing, and I'm not trying to say everything that this man says because I don't see everything that he says, but this particular thing, so... he says, okay, wait, if a girl has guy friends, she's not ready for a relationship. That was one of the things that he said. Also,
I mean, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. First of all, when you categorize anything or anyone, it's like, well, obviously there's going to be women out there that have male friends that are in healthy relationships. And really, it's probably because this guy is actually insecure and can't deal with the fact that his girl is friends with guys. That's probably what it really stems from.
And that's insecurity is what you said. When I meet a guy, like just in dating, and he doesn't have any girlfriends, I'm always kind of like, because to me, you either lack self-control or you're insecure, because you can't go on and say, well, no, I don't have any girlfriends. You can't have any guy friends. When I can see a guy have like a healthy female relationship with someone, it's like, great. You are a person who has respect for women. Because that's the other thing. I've dated guys who literally every girl they want to hook up with, every single girl. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like what? What's like? There's a problem here. So I kind of feel like, I don't know if that's your problem, David, but I do think that people can, like for me, I have 3 brothers. I really value my male friendships. I ask them advice annoyingly. Joe, I'll like call Joe. It'll be Joe and Serena. That's why it's great now, because it's like I have Joe and Serena. They'll have me on speakerphone and I'm like, guys, what should I do? And Joe will say something and then Serena will say something. And it's like a guy's perspective. Women, I think, are very... hetero women and hetero men, I think, are very different in the way that they approach dating. And I think it's amazing when, if you're a guy, you can call your girlfriend and be like, oh, you know what? Let me tell you how to do this. And it'd be great, and vice versa. So I don't think that this man understands what that means. Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
I don't think he understands.
He probably also looks at it from the viewpoint of like you said, like, I only hook up with women. I'm not friends with them. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned something about like at some point someone's gonna think about it. Guess what? I have literally thought about strangling my dog once when she peed, but I didn't do it. You know what I mean? I love my dog.
I hope not,
right?
yeah.
No. Of course not. I would never. My little baby. But I'm just saying, like, people think about things all the time, about anything. And that doesn't mean that, but when you're a smart person, you have, self-control. You know what I mean? Like you feel you can think whatever. I mean, I see people with road rage and all types of crazy stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, are they about to fight? Are they about to kill each other? And it's like, no, but they want to. And that's why they're screaming and yelling outside of their car, but they don't. It's like, it's just because someone thinks about something doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. And I think that this man, it's just a no. So there's one of the things here that he said, Hold on. Let me find it. Oh, so what he said is if she hangs out with a lot of guys and texts a lot of guys, she's the type of girl that has 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out. I was like, excuse me, sir. And again, it's that insecurity, I think, that comes through because, when a girl has guy friends or brothers or whatever, men can't just they kind of have to come correct because my guy friends will be like, Tosh, what you doing? Who is this?
Yeah.
Who is this schmo? You know what I mean? Like he's a loser or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's not treating you like you should be treated. And men see that and they want to flourish that. But so yeah, this guy, it's a hell no for me.
Yeah. And I think it's also I think men and women both do this, and it's if this guy was dating, 10 years ago was dating a girl who had guy friends and cheated on him, then he's now under the impression that happens no matter what. And vice versa, if a girl is with a guy and he cheats on her, then all guys cheat,
Now I will say,
all guys cheat is what you're going to say?
No. What I will say, no, I don't believe that. But what I will say is, I do think it is hard once you've already hooked up. Like if you're two people, you've dated, or maybe you just hooked up or whatever, and now you're like, oh yeah, we're besties, we're friends. I do think that is harder.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. I agree.
So it's like, if I'm a girl and I'm dating a guy and I know he used to hook up with this girl and now you guys are just besties and y'all are hanging out and doing stuff together, I would feel,
weird.
That would feel weird. And that's why
I
I always say to guys who I date, I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of guy friends, but we've never been sexually anything. It's always been a straight platonic relationship. If I introduce you to a guy, no, I have not hooked up with him, because I'm not friends with my exes anymore. I don't do that thing, so that is hard. But if it's just we're friends and we've always been friends.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay.
That's that clickbait. I will be interested to know, comment. Let us know what y'all think. Or let Joe know, I guess now. Ooh.
Yeah, let me know.
Let Joe know. Ooh. All right.
Joe's all alone on this podcast at this point.
Joe, you're holding it down. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so my clickbait, it is from this website called Poosh, Poosh, and it is called How to Manifest the Relationship You Want. I really wanted to leave clickbait on a positive note and tell our listeners, because you guys DM me and you guys tell me, oh, I heard this and I love that you said this and la 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 la, and I love that you guys feel that way. Anytime I get a message from you and something I've said or brought up has sparked a thought in your brain. So it is the new year. I don't know if you guys have New Year resolutions or anything like that. I certainly do. And I think that I am a master manifester. I've mastered manifesting. Joe, what do you think?
I think you are. I would consider you to be a master manifester, if that's a thing.
We just made it a thing. We made it a thing. Okay. And so this article talks about how to manifest the relationship that you want. And there's some clear-cut things that this article says, and I couldn't have written it better. Number 1, get clear on what you want and be specific as possible.
Okay.
Number 2, align your belief systems to be totally in agreement with what you want. Very important. Because I think some people say they want certain things, but they don't actually believe that they can have those things. And that, for me, was a big realization in manifesting. You can say, oh, I want to get married, but in the back of your mind, you're like, but maybe I'm supposed to be the best auntie ever and I'm not supposed to actually get married. Like, I used to think that about myself. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just not supposed to happen for me. But you have to align those beliefs, what you really
So you
want.
you used to throw out there that you wanted to get married, but there was a part of you that thought that you were never going to?
Okay. 100%. And like, I had to have those conversations with my therapist and like have like, and whereas I have certain girlfriends who are like, it's not even a thought in their mind that they were never going to get married. They always knew that they were going to get married and they are, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, oh, I have bad relationship after bad relationship, or I do this or I do that. Maybe I'm just supposed to be one of those people who are just like, I love all of the kids around me, but I'm not supposed to have my own and have my own relationship. And I really thought that at one point. I don't think that anymore. But that's a big part of manifesting. If you can say you want something, but then really think that you're not worthy of it. So that's super big. Number 3, know you're worthy. Boom. That goes right hand in hand of that. Number 4, conjure it up on your mind's inner screen. So this is something that I started doing last year. It's weird and a little delusional, but be delusional about what you want. I literally will be walking Nyla and I would imagine my man next to me walking Nyla with me, like I literally started doing that. Like, it's crazy, but I mean, I'm not like having a conversation like, hey boo, what's up? Like, we're not like, I'm not like talking to them, but
Don't start that.
Joe, you're going to see me walking in the West
There's
Village.
Natasha and her imaginary boyfriend. Don't worry, it's normal. It's normal. This is what she does.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? It works. It totally works. There was one day, so I started doing that, and I was going on a date with a guy, and he was like, where do you live? I told him, I was like, okay, but what time do you want to do this thing? Because I have to worry about Nyla, like when I should walk her or whatever. He was like, well, how about if we go to dinner? We were going to go to dinner and a comedy show. I was like, how about we go to dinner and then we go to your house, walk Nyla, and then we go to the comedy show. And literally a week after I started imagining him next to me, I was like,
here he is.
We can do that. Let's go walk Nyla. Let's go to my house and then walk Nyla. Yeah, so it works, guys. I'm telling you. Okay, number 5.
You're a big believer, and you put it out there in the universe, and the universe gives it back to you.
Absolutely. But because this is the thing, the universe wants what you want. God wants what you want. It's that simple. Like, and people are like, what? This isn't working. No, literally, God doesn't care if you are rich, if you're poor, if you're married, if you're not. God wants what you want, what you really want. So
I really want to win the Powerball. It's like over $1 billion. But I truly want that. I really do. I want that bad.
But see, now that's like I will say this. Do you really want to win the Powerball, or do you really want a lot of money?
I want to really win the Powerball. Yeah, I really do.
You really want a lot of money. That's what that translates to. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
For you to win the Powerball, Joe, you don't play the lottery all the time. You're not gambling all the time, do you?
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to buy a ticket. I just saw, before this podcast, I was watching CNBC, and it's like over $1 billion again, which is crazy. I think it's like 1.3 or 1.4 billion.
That's crazy. But you should definitely buy a ticket for sure. Actually, when I leave, I didn't even know. When I leave this podcast, I'm going to buy a ticket.
Nice.
But if you say, I want a lot of money, let's just say that's what you want, is a lot of money. That can happen for you. I know that can happen for you. You are going to have a lot of money. 100%. I don't know about Powerball so quick at one point, but you can. So, okay. The last ones. Where was I? Okay. Then feel it in, like, you have to know that it's on the way. That's a big one too, because people imagine that they want something and then they put it out of their brain, but when it doesn't happen right away, they're like, oh no, what now? What now? It's never going to happen for me. But when you literally walk in your knowing, like, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. It does happen. It does.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, so listen, there's also, there's some key factors here. You have to put yourself in the right situation. You have to work at what you want. It's not you're not just I'm not just gonna go walk in the middle of a field and be like, I want, $1 billion. And I said it, so it's gonna happen. But, if you put the work towards what you want and you put yourself in those situations, then I believe anything is possible.
I believe that is the essence of this whole entire article. Anything is possible, and what you want is possible. But I do think that we have to be realistic on what is possible. If I said I want to be the next LeBron James, how?
Yeah.
How will I be the next
it's
LeBron
not going to
James?
happen for you.
It's unrealistic,
It's
right?
not going to happen for me either. So
yeah. But but LeBron James didn't look at, I don't know, Michael Jordan and say, I want to be the next Michael Jordan. He was just like, I'm going to train every day and be as best as I can be. And it's like, to my ability. And there's some key manifesting and affirmations that I want to leave with my Clickbait listeners. The universe.
Manifesting with Natasha. There you go. It's a podcast name.
The universe is working for me, not against me. Ask the universe and God to show me how good it gets. How good can it get? How good can it get? Beyond my wildest dreams, how good can it get? And also be patient with yourself. That patience is the most important thing that that I preach more and more and more. Every day might not be the best day, but we got to have a few bad days to really appreciate the good days. Yeah. So be patient with yourself. If you want to stay in bed all day and read a book and don't do anything, don't say you're lazy. Say that my body needs rest, right? If you want to wake up the next day and go hard at the gym, by all means, but be patient with yourself. That is like, no one else will if you can't. Well,
you know what? The truth is, I've always wanted to do this podcast by myself, and it's finally here. Natasha, get the fuck out of here. No. Okay, so let's talk about before
You're
before
welcome,
we leave,
Joe.
Before we leave, favorite moments, favorite guests. Do you have a favorite guest? Just a favorite podcast in general?
Well, I know this is going to toot your own little horn, but I do love when me and you can just go shoot the shit. I do love that. That's one of my favorite things. You are one of the reasons why I think stayed on the podcast as long as I did, because I get to just come talk with you, and it's always a level of like fun, but also respect, and that's what
This all checks out.
Most.
This all checks out.
Shut up, Joe.
How about a guest? How about a guest?
My favorite guest, I will say, listen, Spencer Pratt. That episode was so insane.
That was
and
fun.
Wild. That was so wild. It really was. I
forgot about that. That might have been Tia's first episode, or like one of Tia's like first episodes. Yeah, I remember that.
She's
one
like,
was
"What
nuts.
am I getting myself into?" Also, Raven and Adam. That episode, it just stuck with me. It healed me. It gave me hope. Seeing the two of them being so different and coming together and making their life happen, they're really two special people. That one really sticks out to me. I'm trying to think of what else.
Do you have any Bachelor alum that you've had a preconceived notion on that changed after interviewing them?
Well, I will say, there's a few people. Definitely Clayton. When we had him on the podcast, before we had him on the podcast, I was coming for the man. I really was. And then we had him on the podcast, and the amount of accountability that he took, I thought was really great. Definitely. I'm trying to think of who else. Is there anyone? What about you? Is there anyone that you were like, this person's going to be ridiculous, and they were great, or vice versa? You thought they were going to be great, and they were awful.
I thought Jill was actually going to be a little different than she was.
Yeah.
But I thought Jill was just like watching her on the show. Mm-hmm. She did come across like very, I don't know. I mean, I think she's a little dramatic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But she was just very like, to the point, and I really enjoyed having her on. I thought she was good.
Yeah, I think Jill was really great too. She's definitely someone. It's funny because
that's like one of the recent ones. I'm trying. I mean, we've had a lot of guests.
We have. I think that I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, when we I know that one time we called Becca. That was just so random.
Yeah.
Like that little stuff when we do like dumb little random things like that. I kind of like that. I loved that. When we just called her and was like, hey girl, hold on.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah. I can't think of any. Oh, also I'm blanking on this man's name. Producers, help me. He was the Notebook guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, we had him on. Yeah, I remember him.
When we had the Notebook guy on.
Yeah, his name was Ryan. That was fun.
Let me tell you something.
That's when honestly, like, and I agree. Like you as my co-host, that's one of my favorite parts of this podcast. But it is fun when this new season starts and we get a few of those like beginning people on. Because, like, it's just like, all right, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan, the way that none of us was having it. We were all like, wait, what? We were like, huh? Yeah. So that episode was definitely like, we're no. We are not drinking the Kool-Aid here, Ryan. We are not.
Yeah.
So that was good.
I'm surprised he wasn't on Paradise. Yeah.
You're surprised he wasn't on Paradise with the lies?
I mean, it is a reality show, right?
I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe we'll see him again. Maybe he'll be on the other Paradise. Now, you asked me, was I going to continue to watch the show? I said no, but I feel like I am going to still watch Paradise. And it's
You're not
going to
watch this season. You're not going to watch this season of The Bachelor?
I don't think so.
See, I like The Bachelor because there's this big break, like the Paradise ends and then, you go for 2 months, 3 months without the show.
Yep.
So that's, you're like, okay, I'll get back into it. The Bachelorette piggybacks The Bachelor and then Paradise.
Yeah. But I'll say this, like if you called me one day and you and Serena were like, Natasha, you have to watch. This is so crazy. Of course, I'm gonna be like, okay, fine. Yeah. I can be swayed so easy. Easy.
Yeah.
So easy. But I will. It's not like I'm doing like a strike. Like, no, I'm not watching any of this. It's just, it's entertainment. And I just have so much stuff going on to like.
Yeah. You want to break from it all. It makes sense. We're from the franchise, so we've been in it for so long, and now we talk about it. So yeah, it could be overwhelming at times, but really enjoyed you. Gonna miss you, but I'll see you probably around all the time. So Natasha, it's been quite the ride, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and to everybody from the Wondery team and ABC and Warner, you guys are great. And Amazing. Okay, so thank you to all of our Clickbait listeners. This is see you later, not fully goodbye. And thank you, Joe.
Of course.
and Serena. Serena, I wish you were home because I miss you. And yeah, I'm just really happy, and see you guys later.
All right. And as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your burning questions. We want to know what you want us to get into. Check us out on social. Like, comment, DM us. You know where to find us. Clickbait BN on Instagram. All the links to all our other social media accounts are right there on that page. Also, they are casting for men to date our next Bachelorette. If you are single or know someone who is single, go to our website to nominate or apply at bachelornation.com/apply.
And share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you're looking at this week. And Prime members, make sure you listen to Clickbait ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today, or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. That is the last time you guys are going to hear me say that.
Wow. Natasha, thank you for everything. And our listeners, I will see you guys next week.